Hi, I'm Lini. If you ever played against Mo Krill, you soon learn how annoying it is to deal with him right from the laning stage. Despite all of his abilities being short in range, his capability to close gaps and initiate onto targets, and more importantly, sustain himself during these fights, makes him pretty incredibly viable for most lineups, especially when the meta leans towards aggressive mid-game ganks. And you can do this gank with a combo hold to quickly finish off an opponent. Didn't do it here, but another thing that's annoying is that Mo Krill is incredibly tanky, so he's just going to dive that straight through and get the kill on Holiday. Now, one of the most common items you'll see on Mo Krill are items like maybe Cold Front and Torment Pulse, and these items serve a dual purpose for a hero that relies on farm and ganking momentum to get a long-term advantage throughout a match. You can see here the Torment Pulse and then the Cold Front with the combo for Mo Krill. By the way, if you like these videos, maybe definitely subscribe for more. Okay, let's talk about these items. Cold Front is a tier 2 spirit item. Only costs 1250 souls and provides just 10% spirit resist, so not the greatest stats. The best way to really understand Cold Front is in the context of, let's say, Slowing Hex, where Slowing Hex is used for maybe an individual hero like Vindicta or Infernus to silence their movement-based abilities like Flight or Flame Dash. And then Cold Front is more of a general AoE slow that releases kind of a big Ice Blast that deals spirit damage. If you ever played a really rare and niche game called Dota 2, just kidding, then Cold Front is just like Shiva's Guard. Now, however, Cold Front, what's really important to know about it is that it does double damage to non-heroes, so neutral creeps as well as troopers, most importantly, are taking double the damage from it, and that really is a key to its value, picking it up relatively early. Alright, let's flip it over to the tier 3 item, Torment Pulse. It costs about 3,000 souls and provides bonus health, melee resistance, spirit power, and every 1.5 seconds it does spirit damage. We can see these little beams coming out of Mo Krill here to the 2 closest nearby enemies of your hero. One thing to know about both of these abilities is that they're both fairly short range, right? Cold Front doesn't have that large of a range, and neither does Torment Pulse. And that's really key for a hero like Mo Krill, who also plays relatively close. So one or even both of these items are pretty popular for heroes that kind of like to get in fights and punish those who kind of stay near them. So for example, we see Cold Front on someone like Abrams or even Pocket, while Torment Pulse is also really popular on, let's say, a hero like you can see here, Yamato, going really hard, nice and close to this haze, and Mo Krill evidently. And the reason is really being twofold. Number one, for Cold Front, the Spirit Resist is especially appreciated early on, as that is when Spirit-based abilities are at their strongest. There aren't actually a lot of items that give Spirit Resist besides maybe Spirit Armor, despite Spirit-based damaging heroes peaking much earlier than weapon damage dealers. So for heroes that play close and take Spirit damage to the face a lot, like we see here of Yamato, that kind of protection is actually really appreciated. Now number two is Cold Front, and you're about to see here, closes the gap on enemies and damages them to make staying close to them easy even after you've initiated. And to me, that's relatively important, especially with the amount of escapes we can see here in Deadlock. And so Torment Pulse kind of plays into the same logic. One, it provides a good amount of health and melee resistance, which is needed as you scale into tier 3 item timings. And two, it capitalizes on frontlining heroes' capability to persistently deal damage. And basically, in other words, what that means is that the equation is simple. The longer you're a hero that stays in a fight, like Mo Krill, who has, Scorn and a lot of other abilities, the more Torment Pulse damage you will deal. So you can see with the combo, just by those few seconds that you're comboing, the Torment Pulse plays out really nice for the hero that you could then pull back and reset all over again. Right, for Mo Krill specifically, I already mentioned it a little bit, but the hero's abilities both deal damage, but also hinder the enemy's damage output, like with Sandblast, disarming opponents. But there's also abilities that give him a lot of survivability, like healing through Scorn, which you'll see right there. And basically the bullet and spirit resist you get when burrowing, as well as the bullet resist you get when using combo, when you get a single point into his upgrade. And so with so many tools at his disposal to kind of divert or reduce or outright stop damage from killing Mo Krill, he continues to pump out a lot of damage through Torment Pulse, through his ability to just kind of survive, and as well as his ability kit and more. That's nice. That's a nice pick right there from to the haze. Now you can see here what's the other plus side of Torment Pulse and Frost Cold Front is that basically both of these abilities help you farm incredibly quickly. So for someone like Mo Krill who needs a lot of items and build up towards it, right, having the abilities like Burrow, having Cold Front, having Torment Pulse deal a persistent level of damage, especially double when it comes to neutrals as well as troopers, means that you're actually farming quite quickly. But on top of that, you have a lot of damage at your disposal should a fight come into your periphery. So one of the first questions you're probably going to wonder is, how the hell do I build Mo Krill? And it's actually pretty straightforward, right? His skill build is basically You can see here 2 points in Scorn during the laning stage for that extra damage and thus increased heal to sustain yourself throughout the laning period. The last point would probably help with farm, but it's too much of an investment to opt for it when you have Burrow that should be maxed pretty much first. Right. Secondly, maxing Burrow offers way more versatile value, right? Maxing out first deals more damage, lasts longer with increased movement speed, and the final level or final upgrade to it gives you 50% more movement speed with a 50% cooldown reduction. It's just basically way too valuable to ignore, and it's applicable to all scenarios, right? You can see it here as to start ganking or chase up someone. It could be used to escape from a fight, or maybe to maneuver across the map to reach lanes or neutral camps, or we saw earlier he was trying to get to mid-boss in time. And basically, you know, I just love using it maybe to dive towers if I need to as well, which we saw here. Just dive the tower and then magic carpets away, which is pretty hilarious. And you can use magic carpet while burrowed as well. So thirdly, we also multi-max combo because at this point in the match, you're pretty much leaning towards mostly just fighting, and combo needs to scale in terms of its damage and value, right? Each of the upgrades provide extra damage, extended duration. That means more Torment pulse damage. Protection means it's much easier to pull it off with your combo, especially with the amount of health that you should be having at the point of the game, and especially with the knowledge that a teammate can rely on you to kind of survive, and the duration to actually keep foes in place long enough to finish them off with your team. You can see here that the Mo Krill here is just pretty much blowing it out of the park here with the amount of kills and assists he's able to provide. So that pretty much leaves Sandblast, and it's max last. You can get an extra early point in it for the duration, maybe earlier into the match, but it's not always needed. As usually what happens is you cold front as you're burrowing towards an enemy, combo them with an ally, and then finish them off with Scorn and Torment Pulse, and then Sandblast, I guess, if the fight's still ongoing. But pretty much at this point, it's pretty much just, you know, burrow, spin around when you get out of the burrow with the cold front, as well as Scorn and combo if you need to as well. So Sandblast is really a nice tool, but it's really not a priority compared to all the kind of damage, gap closing, and more importantly, control you can have as Mo Krill. Alrighty, so all in all, while Mo Krill has a lot going for him, he needs honestly some build up to reach the late game and not get completely rolled over by a lot of ranged hard hitters like Infinite or 7. I think against Haze, he pretty much just whacks her down because she's so incredibly frail. The hero relies on items like Torrent Pulse or Frost Guard. We saw Alchemical Fire here as well to both punish nearby foes, but also take advantage of the hero's growth in health and tankiness. Thanks for watching again. I'll see you guys next time.